Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Taco Tuesday, where we take action and crush obstacles. This week I want to talk to you about a concept called letting go. Maybe you've heard of this concept before, and maybe it's something that's a little scary for you, just like it was for me. I was having a conversation with a friend over the weekend, and I was reminded of this whole journey that I went on in 2018. But just to kind of give you a brief synopsis, one of the things that I was dealing with in January of 2018 was I was feeling epically stuck. I mean bad. I was stuck in every aspect of my life, and I didn't have the first clue how to get out of that. So what do you do when you don't know what to do? Well, in my case, I turned to prayer. I turned to the Lord, I turned to God, I turned to the Bible, I turned to devotionals and journaling and praying and digging into that. And that actually was what got me unstuck ultimately. But there were steps and processes that happened along the way. And one of those had to do with letting go of some things in my life I was holding on to pretty tightly. So that's what I want to share with you about today. If you're feeling like you are just stuck and you can't figure out how to get out of that space, I'm going to share with you what I did. The first thing I did was I started digging into the Bible, like I said, but there was a question that popped up in all of that. And it was like as if God was saying to me, Kathy, do you trust me? And I was like, yeah, God, totally. I totally trust you. I've always said to people like, hey, if things are going wrong, just trust God, just trust God. I mean, I've said that all my life, right? I totally trust you. And then he kind of asked me again, but do you really trust me? And I was like, well, yeah, I trust you. And then he said, do you trust me with everything to the point where you're willing to let go of things and give up things that you're holding on to really tightly right now? And that's when it got real for me. And I realized, no, I did not trust God. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, this is ridiculous. God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, God, the creator of me, God who knows me better than I know myself, and I don't trust him. I think I got it together more than he does. That doesn't even make sense. So I kind of got a reality check there. And once I realized I didn't trust him, my next step was to start trusting him. And in doing that, I said, okay, Lord, so what is it that you want? What is it that I need to let go of? And he started opening that up to me and showing me what I needed to let go of in my life. Now, all these things that I needed to let go of, when I looked at them as a whole, it was like, my whole entire life is going to have to change. And it was overwhelming, and I couldn't fit that in my mind, and I couldn't figure out how I was going to do that because it was too much. But when I started looking at it piece by piece, individual part by individual part, in small chunks, if I let go of this, if I let go of this, if I let go of this, what does my life look like? And for each thing I was looking at that I might need to let go of, I asked that question. What does my life look like if I have to let go of this one thing? Well, I can live without that one thing. I can do this instead. All right, what about this one thing? What happens if you have to let go of this one thing? What does life look like? Well, it's not my favorite, but I can live. That'll be all right. I can handle that. It'll be okay. And so on and so forth. I went down this process of not looking at everything I needed to let go of as a whole, but in breaking it down and looking at it chunk by chunk and what I would do and what my life would be like without those individual little chunks. And in doing that, I found it wasn't going to be that bad. And that opened me up. See, God knew that if I was holding on to all this stuff so tightly and I wasn't willing to let it go, there was not going to be room and space for him to bring the things into my life that he wanted to bring me to get me unstuck. So he had to deal with me there first. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today. If there are things in your life that you're holding on to much too tightly because you believe or perceive that life will not be okay without them, whatever it is, it could be a relationship, a person, it could be a habit, it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be material items, it could be friendships, it could be, you name it, fill in the blank, whatever it is. Look at those things individually and really identify what your life would be like without them. When things start being stripped away from you and you're kind of left without them, you really start to look at things differently and realize what's important and what's less important. And you may find, in fact, you're probably likely to find, that some of the things you're hanging on to, they're not that important after all. And you can live without them and maybe, just maybe, even be happier without them. So that's my encouragement to you this week. As always, I welcome your ideas and your thoughts for topics you might like to see addressed on an upcoming episode of Taco Tuesday. And I invite you to share these videos with others that you know who could really benefit from them. Heck, we all get stuck at different times in our lives, so don't keep this a secret. They're here for you, they're here to share, they're here to help you get unstuck. If you're not watching this from the blog post and you're watching it from social media or from YouTube, go to the blog post. I will have links in there for some of the books and things that I used that helped me get unstuck in this process, and they can help you as well. That's it for this week, guys. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you next time.